Okay, so now we're gonna address the wrists and the forearms. You guys, this harder, it's like almost like a PVC pipe with a little bit of carpet, like industrial carpet on it, and then a sock over top of it. That's how they make these. But it's very hard on the edges. So this one can be really good for rolling out your forearms and your wrists. Like you can really get in there. Let me take my watch off here. You can do them at the same time. So you're really just kind of coming across that muscle really deeply. I like this one a lot if I'm pressed for time and I don't want to do like one side at a time. You can also just put your arm on a table if you're at your desk and you've been typing a lot, and just take your forearm or your elbow kind of across it. It's a really, really good one to be able to get all the digits in our hands have different muscular attachments here in the forearm. So as we bring this elbow down across toward our wrist, we're really gonna find those kind of chunky spots. I call them like chicken gristle. Feels very like you slip off of it, right? You know that muscle is really tight when it's not allowing you to slide down it easily. So by moving the wrist and or pianoing the fingers as you do that, you're gonna find where that muscle is bound up, okay? You can also do it with the roller instead of your other arm. Let's say you're just making your arm tighter by doing that. That's where the lacrosse ball or like the Fashionator really can come in. I'm excited to interview my friend Jennifer, who's super professional on this. Years ago, I was gonna get certified in it, and then I just couldn't add one more thing to my plate at the time. And so I didn't, but she is a go-to resource for me, and I can refer people to her. She actually works at a Pilates studio too and helps some of their patients there. It's like physical therapy and Pilates, and so she's very knowledgeable. So I'm excited to get some more information from her. But when I buy one of these from her, it comes with a PDF little kind of video. So if it's something that you think you could find value, let me know, and I can send you the link or her information to get you one. But I am just really going through and finding these spots that feel really crunchy and tight. And like I said, you don't have to have the Fashionator to do it. You can really do it with your forearm. If you have those jade kind of gua sha like rollers, those work really well too. But the forearms need stretched. So when you take your arm like that, you pull your hand back towards you, it stretches all the way up here. I like to try and pull all 5 fingers and reach my wrist long. So I'm trying to push this out towards the camera. I have hyperextended elbows, so I have to keep mine slightly bent. I know this doesn't look bent, but if I didn't do that, it would go up in the air. So to me, I'm really working on bending my elbow. So that's one way, but then you can also go this way. So then you want to pull the fingers and the wrist back towards you. Okay, I'm going to show you a little gentler version of this with your hands on the mat. And if you have a gymnast like I do, they teach this from the little bitty age of like 2, and they're like little cats. I think they call them like little cat moves, but it stretches out the wrists really well. So when you do them on the mat, they have you do them like this, where you come forward and you just kind of rock a little bit forward and back. And then you come this way with your palms down and you rock forward and back. And that's stretching them out at the same time. So let's say you're gonna do some dumbbell work or kettlebell work, where you know you're gonna be gripping a lot. This would be a good thing if you're starting to really get sore grip, because most of the time mine is grip strength, not like bicep or tricep or shoulder strength. It's a lot in my grip. So this helps stretch out the forearms, either before, during, or after, whatever works best for you. Okay, so those were the main issues that I heard this week. And also, when you do something new, it just sometimes takes time for your body to say, oh, this is what we're doing. And then each time you add it on, the soreness in your wrists and stuff like that lasts maybe a day or maybe a half a day, or you just feel it occasionally. but it shouldn't get worse. If it's starting to continuously get worse, then you probably need to consult your doctor or something like that. But icing, if you're gonna ice this muscle up here. Because yes, this is where the pain is, but if the muscle is tight, a lot of times it puts pressure down in the joint, okay? So I hope that was helpful. I hope that that is something that you guys can use as a tool in your toolbox in any one of these fashions. You can also use a tennis ball if that's what you have. I did not show you, and I'm gonna show you really quickly before we go, instead of buying this, because these are pretty expensive, they're like 50 bucks. The other rollers and stuff are under 40. But you can put this in those front muscles like I was showing you, or just do one side at a time long like this and lay on it and get a similar effect. And actually it's much gentler when you start with this. And then if you end up finding that it's great and it's valuable for you and it's really helping you, then you could maybe invest in the next step. But honestly, none of these pieces are like the end all be all and gonna heal anything unless you use them consistently. So unless you know that you're gonna create this pattern, it might not be the best investment for you. Some people hate it, and so they don't make themselves do it. So they buy a foam roller and they rarely use it. So if you're one of those people, just know who you are and know if it's a good investment for you, all right? So I'm gonna put these lacrosse balls at that base of my tummy, and I'm gonna kind of squeeze them and pull them apart. So what I'm doing here is finding that muscle that says, oh, yep, that's a little tight. And then I just kind of can roll across it side to side, and I can roll up and down it a little bit. Also laying my head down, I can lift a leg. Ooh, that's a tight one. It feels very tight and pinchy there in the front. I can also lift up through my belly and press my hips kind of into the balls a little bit more. This is a little more intense, so maybe not something you do right in the beginning. Okay, so now that we've kind of addressed those in some passive ways, let's go ahead and address them with a little bit of stretch. And these are kind of more like you're threading or flossing through those muscles. So you're gonna reach your arms to each side, and this, although it seems like really, really simple, your arms can get tired really quickly. It's like in yoga when you're holding those big, strong yoga poses, and your arms are like, I'm ready to go down now. And they're like 5 more breaths. But we're just kind of flossing that shoulder and lengthening it. If I didn't move my body and I was just kind of doing this, I'm kind of lengthening that joint, do you see? I like to move my body when I do it, because then I get a little more side work and side stretch. And then let's just sit over like we did that seated mermaid the other day, stretching the neck, looking up and down, stretching through the side obliques. A little forward and back. And then we'll hold that arm across. Make sure the shoulder is not up here, it's down. And then once it's down, I can pull across to add a little more stretch in that deltoid over there. Hold that for a bit, right? 30, 60, 90 seconds. If something's really tight, you really do want to hold it for 90 seconds if there's dysfunction there. That is the best time. And do it a few times. So 90 seconds, minute and a half, put on a timer, call you know who if you have Amazon Alexa. And you can tell them to set a timer for you or set it on your phone. It really helps, because then you don't have to keep track of the time. So my forearms already feel like more blood flow is in there. They don't feel as achy. They're still crunch crunch because that's just what they are, but they don't feel as achy in my actual wrist. So maybe trying 1, 2 of those things that we've talked about for the wrists before you go into your plank series or your forearm series. That'll allow you to not focus on how bad your wrist hurts and focus on supporting through that back of the shoulder and in the proper muscle pattern there. And that will really help you